Give me one more chance, Mr. Grady. Just one more chance, I promise. Hey, everybody. Hey, Jim. Got up this morning. As you can see, I'm back in the garage with the Z4, and if you look closely, you can see where I have started to circle all of my little door dings and my little flaws, and of course these guys that have been bugging me for a long time, especially that one. So that ought to tell you something. This black stuff I'm using, that's not Sharpie. It's dry erase pen, so it comes off real easy. But this ought to tell you, I really am going to paint this car. Keep your fingers crossed, folks, because this should be interesting. We're going to paint it right here in this garage. And to start off, I got some primer at this local store that sells automotive paint. And I got some Ultra Glaze. And these are the kind of things that you got to use hardeners. Okay. So I got hardeners to go with them. And I got a spray gun cleaning kit. So that ought to tell you, I went to Harbor Freight. Now, the guy at the paint shop, I asked him about spray guns. And he, of course, recommended that I buy a really nice professional spray gun that's going to cost $500 or $700 or something like that. And it's like, you know, I think I'm just going to go to Harbor Freight because I might just paint one car ever. But if it comes out good, I might paint more than one, I guess. But at that point, I'll buy a better gun. This is a set of 2 guns. I think they cost about $30, something like that. I'll show them to you. There we go. So it's a bigger one and a smaller one. And this bigger one also has a larger tip, which is good for the primer. A little touch-up gun. This would have been handy for my front bumper that I did before. This will probably come in handy for painting wheels and all that stuff. Maybe I'll graduate from my use of rattle cans into something a little bit better here. The paint quality should be better. So that's what I'm going to try, and if this works okay for my primer, then I'll try it and see if it's going to be good enough for my top coat. I think my top coat is, I was kind of playing around with doing a 2-stage metallic thing where you got to do like a water-based base coat and then clear on top. But then I was thinking, geez, maybe I should just do a non-metallic single stage, which is be like the color of my old MG was non-metallic, the damask red, and I'm kind of leaning towards that. Single stage, it's going to be a little rough on the garage environment, but you know, I'll hang up some sheets and maybe sheets of plastic and stuff around here real fast to kind of, I know all this junk in here is going to get a little paint overspray or dust on it, but so what? So I really am going to start painting this car. But first, today I'm going to take apart the rear fender well where the charcoal canister is, because the car threw that stupid evaporative system code again. So the only thing I can think of is maybe there's a problem with that canister, the charcoal canister. It's off of a junkyard car, and I didn't understand why someone would change it to begin with. But maybe there's something going on, and it got saturated or flooded with gas at one point or something, so it may be plugged up. So I'm going to get back there to the charcoal canister and do a little air blowing test to see if it's stopped up or if the air is flowing freely through it. At this point, I really hope it's plugged, because I gotta find the reason for this. And if it tests out okay, then I'm gonna have to hook up the smoke machine again and try to examine every possible last fitting and hose in this dumb thing and see if I can find where my leak is. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for my shocks and struts and mounts and all of that. That should be here, I think it said December 4th, something like that. And because I'm painting the car, I ordered a new third brake light so I can get rid of that stupid one in the back that's got such a thin coat of plasti dip I can't really get it off, and it's getting dry and cracked around the edges anyway, so it's all right to replace that. And what else did I order for this car? I guess that's it. And I'm getting parts little by little for the KLX DRZ 400. I'm waiting on the fuel petcock that I ordered. I ordered a really cheapo one. Rebuild kits for the crappy one that'll destroy your engine that the bike came with are like 30 bucks. And I bought a whole, I'm sure it's made of Chinesium, but I bought a whole new petcock that just has on, off, and reserve, and it supposedly is for the DRZ 400 or 350 as well, and it costs like $8, something like that on eBay. So we'll see how good or crappy that is when it arrives. I think it's supposed to be here around December 4th also. So meanwhile, I'm going to do this, and then after the charcoal canister, I'm going to pull off the front pan and see if I can figure out where the howling on the steering is coming from. Gotta love this little Z4. I shouldn't complain too much, really. I mean, when you think about it, this car's got 125,000 miles on it or something like that. And it's lived kind of a hard life. The people I got it from, they, like I said before, was an exotic dancer, let's say, from Missouri, and her husband, and they lived way down a dirt road, and it was a pretty rough dirt road. So this car's been down the road a piece, and I think it's actually holding up okay. Yeah, it's got a lot of problems, but I bought it really cheap, so it's okay. It's kind of fun to play with. But first, I got some new mirrors for the motorcycle. Let's see how they look. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Oh, what a good looking cameraman. Yeah, there's my crappy old phone I do this all completely on. Well, let's see if these will fit. What do you think? Yeah. There we go. All right. So, we got new mirrors. I like it. Okay, those mirrors I got off of eBay. They cost $22 with free shipping, except now, of course, eBay is charging everybody sales tax. I just bought something from China, and it was, I bought some 80, I think they're 88 millimeter, maybe they're 82s. Anyway, I bought a couple of BMW roundels for here from China, figuring they'd be thinner, and maybe I could just kind of stick them on top of here, because whole replacements for the side marker light are kind of expensive. So I bought these cheap-ass emblems from China, and eBay charged me tax, sales tax, on a purchase from China. That seems kind of sucky. Well, I've got my inner fender well off again. And here we have the charcoal canister. As you can plainly see, it's from a different car. And there's the new DM tail pump that I put in a different video. I think here I'm going to just pull the whole charcoal canister down and disconnect all of these. There's like 3 hoses, and then I'm going to pull the DM tail pump off and then I'm going to just see if it's free. If it's from what I read, you're supposed to be able to put air into these ports and they should come right out. I mean, this is for vapor. So if it's got liquid in it, then the air won't be able to flow through easily, and then that might mean that this charcoal canister needs to be replaced. So I think if they fill up with gas, I think that kills them, but I'll have to look more into it if that is in fact the case here. So let me pull it off and we'll see what's happening. Okay, well, I took it off camera because I needed both hands, and I did my testing. Let me show you what I got here. So this is my charcoal canister out of the car. I have examined it pretty closely and found no damage, no cracks, nothing like that. Then I took this thing off the side that mounts, let's see, it mounts right here. And I don't really know what it is. What I think it is, because the end in my hand here goes to the DMTL pump. Then it goes into this one labeled air. So I think what this is the air intake for the DMTL pump. And then this one here attaches to the pipe I already had that was broken and repaired. So I'm guessing that this is just some sort of filtration one-way valve sort of a thing, maybe? I don't know. But it's clear, it's free, there's no apparent housing damage. Air goes right through it, no problem. It will pressurize just a little bit. I'm only doing this with my mouth, so I don't overpressurize anything, but it seems like everything's good on this hose. So that all, I mean, in my expert opinion, tests out just fine. I'm not really sure what's this stuff in here is supposed to look like. The one that says air there looks kind of dirty. And what's interesting is I made up a little blow hose here out of a piece of rubber hose, and then I took some of my trusty gaffer's tape here, wrapped it around the end to make it where it's the right size to go up against these and seal. So I start to blow in the purge valve, and this is the one that goes to the tank. So purge valve goes up to the engine. So I blow in this one, comes right out of here, no restriction, no problem. Same thing reversed. Then I come up to here, and I started to blow into this one, and I felt a restriction, like, wait. And I had to take and pull this off and look at my hose to make sure there was nothing in it. And I put it back and tried to blow a little bit again, and all of a sudden it went pop! Like there was something possibly blocking it. Now, I don't know how that could even trigger the codes I've been getting, since they're supposedly saying a leak. They didn't say anything about a problem in the charcoal canister, so I don't really know what just happened here or why that did that, but it seemed to change. Something happened inside when I blew in it. Now it flows pretty freely, and if I plug, one or the other of these, then it'll come out up here, and so it seems to be functioning a little bit differently than it was when I first tested it, but since I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, it's hard to say if I have really done anything. I feel like something happened, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the DMTL pump back on, put it all back together, and put it back in the car, and I might hook up the smoke machine later. But first, I got to show you what just happened while I was making this video. The mailman came, and this wasn't supposed to arrive until they said December 4th. And it is, I think, November, what is today? I don't know. I think it's like November 26th. It's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So it wasn't supposed to be here till the 4th, and it's here on the 26th. Yahoo! So this package of parts cost me about $500. And there went my light. Anyway, it's all Bilstein, original Bilstein stuff. And it's new top mounts for the rear, new top mounts, which were what was broken, I think, for the front. Hold on. Okay, let's have a look at this. Oh yeah, here's our top mount. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so it must be just right around this part that is cracking up in the front. Huh. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Awesome. So this means I'm going to get to do this suspension here real soon. Maybe even tomorrow I'll get into this front strut stuff. Hopefully I can do it fairly quickly. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be that hard. It's not that many bolts. It's just compressing the spring and, you know, all of that. That's a little iffy. But it can't be that hard. Can it? Come on. I watched the video. It looked pretty easy. Although I haven't watched anything about doing the back yet, so. But come on, it's moving, changing shocks. That's super simple. So, famous last words. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put this whole charcoal canister mess back together and put it back in and put this fender well, yeah, I'll put the fender liner back in. Well, maybe I won't. I'll have to decide. I might leave it out for the paint job, but because I'm going to have to take this apart pretty good for the paint job. Don't worry, the car will go out on the road again someday. I'm going to say it's going to be in here for maybe 2 weeks, maybe less. I'm shooting for less. Thanks for watching.